guys, it's Glenn from glenscarcollection.com, and I'm really excited to bring you this review. It's the new BMW M Competition. All right, guys, we have one of my dream cars. Probably if I could buy any car, the M Competition would certainly be high on the list. Special thanks to BMW of Firefly for allowing me to review this and the BMW M convertible. I'm not sure which I'll post first, probably this one. What I'll do is I won't go over the same things in both reviews, so I'm not repeating myself. So whatever I don't cover in the M Competition Coupe, I'll cover in the M convertible, okay? And then when both of the videos are out, then I'll link at the end of the video, so remember to watch them both all the way through and you can see the other one. But one will come out first and one will probably come out a couple days later, so be sure to hit that notification bell. Before we take it for a spin, let's go over the interior. All right, so let's go over this gorgeous interior. This is one of the best looking interiors I've seen. Now, I love the exterior color, sapphire black. My Z3 M Coupe is sapphire black, and I've really grown to love that color over the years. It's probably my favorite, or one of my favorite BMW colors. So let's look at the steering wheel. Really nice grips here for 9 and 3. I think the thickness BMW's got it perfect. There's a lot of imitators for BMW, and either the steering wheels are usually too thick, and then you drive the car for about an hour or so and you have a hand cramp. I think BMW M has it hands down, a nice thick steering wheel, but it's very comfortable in your hands. And now here you have all the controls you ever need. You have your phone controls here, microphone, your cruise controls, heated wheel in the perfect spot. My M2, it's like behind the wheel here, and you're always reaching, trying to figure out what side it was and how far back. This is where a heated wheel should be, right here. Now here's great settings for M cars. You can do your M1 and M2 buttons, so you have a lot of controls to adjust throttle response, handling, etc. We'll go over those in a minute. And then you have your paddles. This is to upshift, and this is to downshift. Now this car has a great 8-speed ZF automatic that's found in over 83 cars now, 83 models, and including the BMW M5. Now here you have your gauges. So you have a speedometer that goes up to 200 miles an hour, tachometer front and center, which I like it, M8, so you know that you've spent the extra money on an M car. Here you have a full tank of gas. Thanks again, BMW 1005, for a full tank of gas. And here you got your temperature controls, outside temperature. So it is a beautiful day here, luckily. Then you have all your media controls here. You can just go everything through a mouse. So you can go over information about the car. You can do different, an M menu, where you could do arrange your heads-up display, your instrument panel, say what gauges you want to see. You can configure the view, which I think is really cool. You could do what you want to see in the heads-up display, brightness. You can even adjust the height, which is awesome. Here you have rotation. And these are to configure the 1M and M2 buttons. So you can put we don't want the engine in efficient. We can put the chassis in sport, steering in sport plus, so that'll give us a little more weightier steering, or their most weighty steering. Brakes, there's a comfort mode. There's actually a sport mode for brakes, so you don't have to press the brakes all the way down. So if you're driving in the mountains like I do, or driving in the canyons, you can have a more sporty feel to the brakes. Transmission, you can configure here. There's comfort. You can do start, stop, on and off. And really a lot of choices. So many choices now. It's almost like having 5 different cars at once. Experience modes. Drive into different, so car care, driver profiles. That's pretty cool. So if you and your significant other are sharing the car, you can obviously have it set up differently. You have your normal radio, your Bluetooth, your contacts, your BMW Assist, and then BMW apps. So you can put all your apps here. These are installed apps, and obviously your own apps can go there as well. And then you have, temperature controls here. You can easily have dual climate controls. Usually I like the car like about 65 degrees. I have it hotter just so we're not hearing the fan noise here. And then you have all your radio controls. And if you have a competition, it actually will say competition right here. And then here's all the other modes you're probably familiar with on an M car. Start button, which you could shut off, your iDrive controller. You can go into M mode this way as well. And then obviously your parking sensors, traction control, stability control, and the old electronic parking brake. You have storage underneath here, which will open up. Very nice and convenient. You have your power outlet there as well. And this has the optional Bauer & Wilkins stereo. So you have this beautiful interior. All right, guys, before we take it out for a spin, and we will in a minute, I just want to go over the options. All right, so forgive me, I'm going to read from my phone here. So base price, $146,000. Now that's for the M8 competition and not the base M8. We have black sapphire metallic, which is beautiful. I love that color. And this interior is white Tartufo full merino leather. And both of those are included. And this is just the right options, no more, no less. Driver's assistance package, which gives you the recorder, the blind spot detection, lane departure warning, active park distance control, rear view camera, surround 3D view, which you saw when we went over the interior, parking assistance plus, all for only $1,100. You get all the safety for $1,100, and it's well worth it, obviously, when you're spending this kind of money. The driver's assistance pro package, which is the extended traffic jam assistant that we'll get to in another video, $1,700. And then you have the M competition package. So it gives you 17 more horsepower. You go from 600 horsepower to 617 horsepower. You get the M Sport exhaust system, which is worth it to me. These beautiful 20-inch M Star spoke bicolor wheels, M seatbelts, extended Chatelaine trim, obviously the competition package, and the Alcantara headliner, which is gorgeous. Let's see, remote engine start. Finally, BMW's come around to remote starts is included. So is the M differential, mobility kit, a million other things. And really the only other options it has is the M driver's package, which we'll go over, is $2,500. And the what I think is well worth it, I may have said it was standard before, but it's of course optional, Bowers & Wilkins sound system, which is $3,400. Now that's cheap, $3,400. What I have in my Audi S8, the Bang & Olufsen, was a $6,500 option. Almost no car had it. I actually live in New Jersey and found that car in Miami. That was the closest car with that option. So here, if you're getting an M8 or an M8 competition, definitely checks that box for $3,400. Sounds amazing. All right, guys, you've waited long enough. Let's drive. All right, guys, as we back out here, put in reverse, check out the backup camera here. So you have a full camera, and then you have a 360 view, so you can see with the curb what's behind you. It's really awesome. You also have the backup assistant here. It also remembers, it can back up the car to you. It remembers the last bunch of steps, so you could park the car and actually have it retrace the steps if you are in a tight parking area. All right, let's go. Now we're stopped here at a light. So I just went through a real bumpy stretch of road, which typically I don't film on because it's too bumpy. And I was efficient in all the comfort modes, and it was really a great setup. So what I'm going to do now is put it in some stiffer modes here as we get going. We're in sport mode now. And again, we have 600 horsepower, 617 horsepower, I'm sorry, with the competition, 553 foot-pounds of torque. Now we're going to put the chassis as well into sport, steering into sport, and we'll try out the sport brakes. Why not? Oh, I can feel the difference in the sport brakes already. So basically, there is less brake travel. All right, again, we have 617 horsepower. Whoa, holy crap. 617 horsepower, 553 foot-pounds of torque. So remember, we get an extra 17 horsepower with the competition package. This heads-up display looks awesome. It's so big, and you can, again, change the size, change the angle of it, and it's got a big tachometer front and center, what gear you're in, and then, of course, the speed that you're going, and to remind you, of course, the speed limit. Now, it is a heavy car, depending on options. It's anywhere from 4,300 to 4,500 pounds. Let's see if we can put it in. All right, so now we're putting it in sport mode. We're going to shift the 8-speed ZF automatic ourselves. Now, this has the 4.4 liter turbocharged V8 that I love. And the power with the turbos is really, really responsive. 8-speed ZF automatic. That's in like over 80 cars now, and it is the best automatic transmission out there. And it's certainly better than a lot of dual clutch transmissions, especially around town. So we've been shifting up and down. It's imperceptible. You don't feel any shakes, but we have power right away. Wow, so what I really love about this, like the BMW M5, it really has pull in every gear. Now we're in some smooth roads here. Wow. Oh man. Oh God, this sounds so good. Now we're going up and through the and down through the gears. This is probably the best ZF 8-speed that I've driven. Very similar to the M5. 5 feels very similar to me. Now the 8 Series actually has replaced the 6 Series, and what never ever happens in a BMW is, or any car, not just BMW, is cars always get bigger and never get smaller because they take surveys of cars and people always want more space, even Mini Coopers. Number one complaint on a Mini Cooper is I wish it was bigger. So that's not coming from a car enthusiast that always wants it to be smaller and lighter. But that is unfortunately coming from the general public. Wow, so the shifts are smooth as silk. It isn't a heavier car, similar to the weight of my Audi S8. I just wanted to show you the instrumentation here. So you have the tachometer on both sides, your speed in the middle. We're in manual mode now, so that's the gear we're in, and that is our speed. We're gonna shift, see how smooth that shift was. You have the tach on both sides. Give it some gas. Remember, we got the M differential. Whoa. And I don't know if you can see here that heads-up display. I don't know if it'll come out on the camera, but it is awesome. Let me tell you, my 2002 Corvette Z06 had a heads-up display, and it's now 2019, almost 2020, and that's when cars are starting to get heads-up displays as regular or optional equipment. Come on, Chevy did it in 2002. All right, so now we have it in manual mode. We're gonna try to get an exhaust clip here. Try to do a little bit of acceleration. Did I tell you I love this car? Oh, I really love this car, oh my God. All right, let's see if we can get a little acceleration here. And let's go. Now the car is all-wheel drive, so I do feel the all-wheel drive helping us here in acceleration. There is a rear drive mode, so you have to shut the stability control off to get into that rear drive mode. But just like the M5, you kind of have like a drift mode. So it's the best of both worlds. All-wheel drive when you need it, rear-wheel drive when you want to hoon the car. Little acceleration here. Wow, this car really just pulls. All right, so we've been driving it. Let's see what we like about the car, what we don't like about the car. Well, what I like about the car should be really obvious. It is gorgeous, it is beautiful. BMW, why'd you wait so long to come out with the 8 Series? You just have a gorgeous car. I love the interior. I've driven 600 cars on this channel, and this is probably one of the best interiors. Certainly, I think the best BMW interior of a car that I've driven. So I love the looks, both inside and out. I love the configuration. I like how you can make this car all-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive. I love the heads-up display. Any dislikes? You know, well, what I like about it is it's smaller than the 6 Series. So as I said, this replaces the 6 Series, and it's actually shorter. Signaling, let's go left here. I wish it was slightly smaller, would probably be better. You know, always, you know, price. Steering feel, wish it had better steering feel. You know, modern cars, this is how the steering feel is. So it's much improved than the electric steering we had 5 years ago. But as everywhere else, I could use some more steering feel, and I could use some more sound, actually. So we have the sport exhaust on. It sounds very good, everything that I hear, but I wouldn't mind having more of it. It takes turns pretty well. I mean, it's not the smallest car in the world, and it's not the lightest car in the world, but it is one of the best cars, probably the best car in its class. I just love how this drives. It is a gorgeous looking car. You know, backseat is more for show. You might be able to fit some toddlers in there. I'm 6 feet tall. I'm not going to be able to sit in the backseat, not enough head or leg room for me. But, you know, if you're smaller and can move the seat up, maybe you can fit better people in there. But this is a sweet driving car. Think of this car as like a two-door M5. That's the way I think of it. I think the M5 is probably one of the best all-around cars. What's great about this 8 Series is I think the M8, you could drive it as a daily driver. So it's not like a harsh, stiff car that you can't drive every day. So if you have one of these cars, you know, I have a commercial real estate business. I'm a commercial real estate broker. So I do need the back seat pretty much all the time. So unfortunately, my daily driver has to have 4 doors and a big back seat. But if you don't need that, and you probably don't, because probably 90% of the driving you're going to do is just you in the car, you should definitely consider a car like this, because you're not going to use the back seat. You could drive this car every day with the all-wheel drive. At first, I was totally against M cars being all-wheel drive. Now, with these rear drive modes in them, I think you really got the best of both worlds, and I wouldn't hesitate at all of buying an M car with all-wheel drive. Other things I like, I really love the transmission on this car. I think it's great. I think it's better than a dual clutch in this application, because the torque converter automatics do well around town, and now they shift almost as quick up and down as a dual clutch, so you really have the best of both worlds. And I love the adjustability. We just had it in sport mode. Now as we get to the bumpier roads, as we head back to the dealership, you know, I could put everything in the chassis in comfort mode. So the way I usually drive a car is I'll put the engine in Sport or Sport Plus. That's my signal. I usually put the engine on Sport or Sport Plus, and usually the chassis on comfort. Unless I'm blasting through like a mountain road, there's very little time that I actually need the chassis in a sport or a stiffer mode. I don't want to give this car back. You can tell how long I drive a car by how much I like it. So if it's really an amazing car, I typically tend to do longer reviews because I don't want to give that car back. I want to keep driving it. The good news is we're going back to get the M8 convertible, and you'll see that in a future video. And whatever we didn't cover here, we'll cover there, so I'm not redundant in the 2 videos. So remember to subscribe and then hit the notification bell so you don't miss that next video. So thanks again for watching, guys. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. And remember to leave your thoughts on the M8 competition in the comments below. And if you're interested in buying this particular car, this exact car, or any other M8 or any BMW new or used, definitely check out BMW of Tenafly. I know a couple of you already have emailed me and told me you bought cars there, so I'm glad I was able to get you a really good discount. And thanks to them for allowing me to review all these cars, especially M cars. Thanks again, and I will see you next time.